But with that, we'll wrap up the game and we'll get into obviously the biggest thing in the NFL, kind of news league wide, is the award races. We finally got our winners. So we'll just kind of go in order from what the NFL put out. So, to start us off, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'll kind of take this one because I definitely kind of had both the first and second runner-up. I've been talking to them a lot. Offensive Rookie of the Year, kind of not surprised. C.J. Stroud. It's a very dominant QB, award. Obviously, we've seen in the last few years some receivers, Garrett Wilson, Jamar Chase, have been getting it. But, this award that favors QBs, rookie QBs coming in, making big instant impacts. And that's what Stroud was, Took him to a playoff run. Could have potentially gone further, just, played a tough team, tough matchup in their second round. But, led them to the playoffs, led them to a great regular season, and has proven that the future's bright for them, even with really not having a lot. He kind of made the most out of it. Big plays, big numbers. He had that big, huge game. Was it like 5 touchdowns? Kind of just skyrocketed him to kind of a lock. He missed a few games, but when you have that level of QB play as a rookie, it's kind of a no-doubter, no-brainer. Can't really fight it. I will say Puka Nacua, unfortunately, he got like 2 votes, I think. It was like 48 to like 2. But, it is what it is. I think Puka balled out. It's just hard when you have to go up against a rookie quarterback that leads his team to a playoff run. So, both deserve the credit. I think Puka, phenomenal year. Obviously breaking the rookie receiving records. Big year for him. Future's bright for him as well. But yeah, Stroud's. Hopefully, it's not just one of those insane rookie years and a bust after that. I don't think it will be, because I think I've been saying he was the most NFL ready coming into the draft, and he proved it. And he doesn't look like, just as an eye test, it doesn't look like he's gonna struggle in the next few years, because he's got some young guys around him. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, tight end Schultz, Damian Pierce, Singletary. He's got a good core around him. They just got to kind of help out Anderson on the defense. But what do you think about that one? I think we all expected Stroud to win it, but
Yeah, pretty much no surprise. You pretty much hit the nail on the hammer, or whatever the saying is. But yeah, all props to Puka. Just broke the rookie receiving record. Any other year, like at least past 2-3 years, I think if he was in any of those classes and did what he did, I think he wins it for sure. And this
yeah,
isn't even a conversation. It's just he happened to go against the guy who kind of the whole NFL like fan base kind of see as the next guy, the next Joe Burrow, like putting him already in that class. So it's tough to battle against, but amazing career, amazing season, amazing way to start a career, and just being, a low pick or low round pick. I think he was like 5th, 4th, somewhere around there.
yeah, he was 5th round.
5th round. So amazing story. Great guy. Every time I see him on social media, seems like he's having fun, enjoying his time out there. So all credit to him. But yeah, CJ Stroud. What you did in your first year was phenomenal with the organization that's kind of been struggling recently. They had their Deshaun Watson period, but even that kind of went down the drain toward the end of his career, or his end of his time there. So with it, yeah, just with the young cast, new coach, just brand new, pretty much almost all around, and just what he did. Hard to take away the award from him at that point.
Yeah, no, couldn't agree more. Just a tough one, especially since it's my team. But I was high on Shroud, so I can't say anything against it, but I think he deserved it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just tough to see that when my team has a crazy rookie receiver ball out like that, then it's got to be a goated rookie quarterback in the same class. But yeah, no, well deserved. But we'll get right into the next one, and I'll let you start because I know you're gonna have an opinion on this one. Defensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett wins it, and I'll let you go. I know you definitely got something to say.
I mean, I I think I can speak for most Steelers fans. At least most of us kind of saw this coming. I'm not gonna say any of us agree with this. I mean, Michael Parsons, even if it's like I agree with it, don't stats there, but I mean, what else do you want? TJ has been the best player on defense in the league for the last few years. I mean, I talked about in the beginning of the year how the Steelers offense never ever outgained their opponents, but somehow we're still winning games, and that's because of TJ. I mean, scored a touchdown, got a pick, led the league in sacks, still had a lot of forced fumbles. I mean, I don't know what else you want from the man at that point. He's pretty much what keeps our defense alive. I mean, everyone's seen the stat. We're like 1 in 12 without him. It just keeps getting worse every time he sits out. I mean, all credit to Myles Garrett. I thought he had a phenomenal season. I think this was definitely his best season of his career so far, but I I don't know what you're looking at to say that Garrett was better. I mean, they had slightly a better record than us. So one more win, I think, was it. I mean, but I don't know. I can't explain why he won over TJ, but it's fine. I mean, I felt like TJ's been snubbed before. I mean, he even said it. I've been here before. I know what it feels like. Last time we snubbed him out of a defensive player, he went to go tie Shanahan's record. Not Shanahan, but Strahan's record. So be ready for next year because we just keep adding fuel to the fire, and I love it because we're gonna see TJ win another Defensive Player of the Year as long as there's no politics behind it. But yeah, great one for Garrett. I definitely thought he was second, so I'm not too mad. I guess I did see it coming, but yeah, uh, it was more politics. I felt like because I don't see any way that the Garrett was any much better than TJ in any category across the season.
Yeah, that was a tough one. I mean, at one point, I definitely think Garrett was leading it. I do think he kind of fell off just kind of in the second half of the season. Definitely regressed. Wasn't as dominant. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure what the NFL's thought processes are. I will say there were a lot of other winners that I think did not make sense and were not deserved. So um, I think this wasn't the only one that didn't make sense for me. But yeah, no, I agree with what most of you said. I mean, I think TJ, he's been just kind of, yeah, like you said, the best player on the defensive side. Um, Definitely is in a favorable situation for how he plays. I think the Steelers, um, they know how to utilize him and kind of make the most out of his talent. And the guys around him really compliment him really well. Highsmith, um, and I don't know. It was a tough one. I mean, I think, yeah, I don't know. I know a lot of people are upset. Even like non-Steelers fans are upset. So you're not the only one.
Not
But
one single category. He has TJ beat, but whatever PFF wants to release their
yeah,
stupid
I don't know.
grades, it's
Yeah, I
what
mean,
it
I know,
is.
I know. Some people were saying like, I mean, I don't think this is like should be. I hope it wasn't like the defining factor, but they were saying like, oh, he had a higher double team rate, something, stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe the NFL knows something we don't, but I know a lot of
Yeah,
people don't really think that that's possible. So yeah, moving on. The one that I felt was definitely made the least amount of sense for me. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Will Anderson Jr. takes this one. Um, to me, I was a little confused. I mean, I'm not sure how he won it. I don't get what the is another like you said what they're really looking at. Because I could name at least three people that definitely deserved it more than he did. I felt like Carter, Witherspoon, and Kobe Turner were like the three front runners. I don't know how Will Anderson was kind of in that. I mean, I know at one point he was like right there neck and neck with Carter, but then I felt like the last kind of back half of those last like maybe 5 games of the year, he just wasn't really relevant, um, at least in terms of maintaining the pace with Carter and Turner. So I don't know. This one upset me because I thought Kobe Turner deserved it out of everybody on that list, really. Um, but at the very least, I would have accepted Jalen Carter or Witherspoon. Definitely not Will Anderson Jr. though. So this one was the most upsetting for me, especially since there's a Ram on the list that I felt deserved it. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. What do you think about this one?
Um, kind of with you. I definitely was a little surprised, Will Anderson, but a little bit not. I mean, he's on the Texans. We just said what CJ Stroud did. I mean, kind of all the eyes were on the Texans pretty much the end of the season, especially the back end of the season. He had himself a pretty good rookie career. I mean, rookie season. I think he was close to double digits, but I mean, with everyone you named, I kind of get it. I don't know if I would have put him there, but it's what the league is. We know quarterbacks win awards, and we know for the defensive side, pass rushers win awards. And yeah, he didn't have a phenomenal season, nothing groundbreaking, but I mean, I'm pretty sure he had the most sacks on the list, and that's kind of what you turn the nod to. I like Jalen Carter, but I mean, the reason I never had him as my favorite is their D tackle.
Uh,
It's
he
just
he didn't have the
hard
most
to do.
sacks amongst rookies.
No, he didn't.
It was Kobe Turner.
Uh, Okay, that surprised me a little. I think if I mean, yeah, like I said, I think it's just the Texans and how much
Yeah,
spotlight they got on them.
I guess.
Yeah, that's all I can really say. But yeah, Jalen Carter, defensive tackle. It's kind of hard to win that award with that. It's like an offensive lineman winning an award almost at that point.
Yeah.
And I mean, Devin Witherspoon had a great season. Definitely a lot more buzz in the beginning. I kind of didn't hear his name too much. Still a great up and coming corner. And like you said, Kobe Turner led rookies in sacks. But again, you guys had a great season, but definitely none of those teams really lived up to the hype of the Texans got. That I mean, just toward the end of the season, and we all know recency bias. So
Yeah.
I guess that's why they chose Anderson. I'm not too mad, but not that happy about it. I mean,
Yeah. A lot of people were like because Stroud won just for like publicity and popularity to have double Texans getting both rookie of the years essentially. Um, yeah, I don't know. It's whatever, I guess. Oh well. Can't win them all. Um, next up.
but
Oh, what were you gonna
I was gonna say, but the Texans and Browns can win them all.
say?
So,
Yeah, I guess so. Um, yeah, kind of segueing into the next one. Um, another one that I thought didn't really make much sense. Coach of the year, Kevin
uh,
Stefanski. Stefanski,
not
Cleveland
the word I
Browns.
thought you were gonna talk about, but I'll start this one, I guess.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he's pretty well deserving of the award. I would have put the Lions head coach Dan Campbell above him. I mean, seeing what he did with the organization, but I guess it's a 1 year sample size. But yeah, Stefanski had an amazing season. I can't take it away from him. I mean, we talked all season about the injuries they had, the most cap space on IR, losing your starting quarterback, running back. I think they lost a corner. They've lost a lot of pieces, and they still ended up winning games. Still made it into the playoffs. Yeah, you lost first round, but I mean, I don't think any of us expected them to make it that far, with what they had left on that roster going into the final weeks of the season. But I mean, they clinched playoff spot. They didn't have to play that last week for anything. So I like Kevin Stefanski. He did a great job. Like I said, I would have went Dan Campbell just with how he did, but they don't count postseason for these awards, so I kind of get it a little bit. But I think it was mostly a running between them two. D'Amico Ryans I thought was in it, but I would have probably put him third. But yeah, I'm not too mad about this one. I think this one was fine with me, as much as I would have liked to see Dan Campbell. But yeah, great season by Stefanski. Can't ask for a better coaching season, at least in my opinion.
I mean, I agree somewhat and also not. Um, I mean, I do think the Browns had you know, a really tough situation and were able to, you know, turn things around and make the most of it. To me, for me, it was clear cut between D'Amico and Dan Campbell. Um, but yeah, I mean, I guess in the sense of everything you said, the injuries, just looked like it was pretty much over, and then turning it into a playoff. Um, yeah, they lost in the first round, but you know, getting to the playoffs from where they were, still pretty impressive, like you said. So I guess I'm like okay with it, but I definitely felt like D'Amico or Dan deserved it because I thought Dan Campbell definitely had a great storyline. I guess the sense of the storyline for the Browns, but being able to miss the playoffs for that long and finally taking them to an NFC Championship, I thought was pretty impressive. But oh well, another one that's you know, it is what it is, I guess. But getting into the second to last one, one that I think made the most sense, but also felt like it could have been a different scenario. Offensive Player of the Year, Christian McCaffrey. I think here's why I say yes and no. So we still got to get the MVP. I felt McCaffrey could have had MVP, and then Tyree could have Offensive Player of the Year, in my opinion. So, in that sense, I felt like it could have gone differently. But at the same time, this makes the most sense as an Offensive Player of the Year. I guess if you're going to have someone else be the MVP. So, if he was an MVP, he's definitely Offensive Player of the Year. But, yeah, no, huge year for McCaffrey. Definitely what we expect from him when healthy. Because we knew what he could do with the Panthers. It was just injuries were kind of holding him back. Um, and he's in an even better system than he was, and an even better line. So, yeah, he's been balling out. He's been kind of back in that prime form. Just again, the question is just always going to be injuries. So, this is what the type of caliber player he is when he's at 100%. And again, if he stays healthy, this is where we expect him to be year after year. So, deserved, but I felt like he also deserved more. I felt so. We'll go over that when we get to MVP, but yeah, definitely for me, this one made the most sense out of all the other ones. Yeah.
I'm kind of with you. I mean, I never did see him winning MVP. Like you said, QB war, but I mean, yeah, no shock here. Thought he was a lock. I mean, he pretty much put his name as the best running back in the league right now. I don't think there's any debate, in my opinion, just the way he's been playing. He's pretty much the engine on the team that's the first seed in the NFC. He's now going to be playing in the Super Bowl. unreal plays this season. Led the league in touchdowns. I mean, he did it all for that team, kept them going. I mean, we said Brock Purdy had some bad games, but they still were able to get through it because Christian McCaffrey is just the workhorse, the engine, and just always got to be accounting for him. Even when you do, he still finds a way to slip out of tackles, break big yards, does what he does. So yeah, no question here. Great season by Tyreek. Just sucked that the Miami Dolphins kind of just collapsed at the end of the season, and you just kind of dealt with a few injuries, so you didn't hit that kind of yardage pace we were all expecting you were in the beginning of the year. But yeah, great season by McCaffrey. Definitely one of the most well deserved, I think, awards.
Yeah.
This night.
Yeah.
Also, we also have comeback player of the year too.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna see where is that one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's before MVP. So
okay.
that's one that is up next. So we'll get right into that one. Comeback player of the year. Glad it wasn't who a lot of us thought it potentially could have been, DeMar Hamlin. But this one, I'll let you take. I'll let you start. I was a little upset about this one. I definitely think maybe there were two other names that could have been, I felt like a little more, but Joe Flacco, Cleveland Browns, gets this one. Yeah, so I'll let you start this one off.
I mean, I'm kind of with you. I don't fully agree with this one, but any other year I probably would have had him as the front runner. I mean, we all know Joe Flacco was pretty much on the couch, his age, him falling asleep on the bench, on the sideline. I mean, just to come in and do what he did, lead the Browns, make that offense look better with him than Deshaun Watson. I mean, just everything he's been able to do this season is phenomenal. I mean, I think he pretty much embodies comeback player of the year. So I'm not mad. But I curious to see who your names were. I think DeMar should have won it, but I get the narrative. I guess saving the Browns franchise is more remarkable than fighting death. So I guess that's how the NFL views it. But great season by Flacco, and yeah, sucks for DeMar. It was a great story. I mean, I think it just was too long since the accident, so people forgot maybe, or just didn't feel as heartwarming anymore. But yeah, can't take too much away from Joe Flacco. Any other year, I would have gave him this award, so I'm not too mad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is what exactly constitutes a comeback player of the year? Like, is it in the sense of like you had a major injury with, say, obviously using Hamlin as an example, but you know he didn't really do anything like contribution wise, efficiency wise, um, is that what's a comeback player, or is it like somebody who maybe a combination of a bad year or an injury, and then they come back and they ball out and they are back in like their 100% form, stuff like that. Actually producing, putting up numbers. So I guess I don't know. That's the question, is whether or not what exactly you consider to be the comeback player. So in the sense of like, yes, DeMar Hamlin's story of what happened is a great story as a comeback player, but he didn't really like contribute anything to the actual like his team winning, to the game itself. Um, for me, I mean, I was impressed with Joe Flacco. It's definitely a tough situation he came into, turned it around, took him to the playoffs. But I didn't think it was really as pretty as a lot of people make it out to be. It was maybe just those first 2-3 games he was kind of hot. One of them he had like 4 picks in it. Yeah, they got the win, but it was very ugly. And then got snuffed out by a rookie quarterback in the first round. So To me, I felt like the names that deserved it were I would put Baker Mayfield first, just because I felt Baker was, you know, the story of started, rough years with the Browns, kind of hopping all over the place. Found a little bit of a, you know, taking over a shitty situation in LA with the Rams, and then made his way to Tampa, taking over, you know, a rough year with the greatest of all time, kind of a team that, was for a few years expecting to be kind of front runners and then kind of sizzled out, got stale, and, he was questioning whether he was going to be even getting a starting job to a sophomore quarterback who really had, no experience, and he turned them into a playoff winning team. So for me, it felt like Baker to me. The other name I would say is Matthew Stafford. Obviously, that one's the in-house pick. Rough year last year, injuries, just kind of regular season falling apart. Came back and was top 10, kind of fluctuating into top 5 in QB numbers. Took his team to the playoffs. Yeah, I got beat in the first round, but it was a real close one. And kind of really had a great year QB number wise. But to me, yeah, I thought Baker deserved it the most. So those were the two names that I had in mind. I get the Joe Flacco one, I think, just because he came in so hot and just the story of the Browns, I guess. So another one of those, like, at the end of the day, I can live with it, but I felt like some other people deserved it more than this person. So
I forgot about Baker. I won't lie. I'm with you. I think actually he probably would have been my front runner, or at least the one who deserves it. But I kind of get it. I mean, he's had a phenomenal year. I mean, like you said, just Bucks weren't that team as we looked at, and what he did, won the division, made a run in the playoffs. But it just felt like he never did get media coverage. Not especially not anywhere close to how Joe Flacco was pretty much the poster boy kind of for like 2 weeks. So I feel like this was a more of a media driven one. Like you said, comeback player of the year is kind of getting weird on how they classify these things. I mean, we used to always think of it just being an injury and then coming back, and then Geno Smith won as just having a bad year and then career resurgent year. So weird award now.
yeah,
Definitely, I feel like they should define what the kind of requirement is, but
because I know a lot of people
yeah,
thought it was going to be Damar Hamlin just off the story. Like they were
yeah,
like,
no, yeah.
all Hamlin has to do is sniff the field for one play and he gets it. So I know a lot of people thought it was just locked in. So
Yeah, I'm part of it,
yeah,
but maybe that's because they didn't want to pay out all the people who put money down on Damar Hamlin. Because I think everyone put money on Damar Hamlin for this
that
award.
would make a lot of sense,
That's
honestly.
what I was thinking.
That
Because I
would
was
make
like,
so
there's
much sense that like everyone, especially with the partnership with the sports books, sports gambling,
oh yeah,
just skyrocketed. So everyone probably locked into Damar Hamlin, and NFL was like, no, not today, suckers. That would be hilarious. That low key is fathomable. Like I could actually picture that being the
that was
case.
the first thing I thought when I saw he didn't win the award. I was like, did they do this because of bets? Because
Yeah,
I
that is actually that makes a lot of sense. Um, but moving on, last but not least, MVP, most valuable player, getting his second one. Quarterback, Lamar Jackson, Ravens. Um, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this one. Like I was saying earlier, I don't know. I honestly thought McCaffrey deserved it. Um, just the absolute dominance at the running back position. Uh, kind of an no doubt, unquestionable, like unanimous best running back in the league. Um, whereas I felt like you could argue that you know Lamar Josh Allen might have had a better year, better QB play than Lamar did. So in that sense of like where I felt like it was undoubted, no doubt, can't can't argue that McCaffrey was the best running back, whereas there's an argument to be made where Lamar's not the best quarterback. I get that this award is just a QB award. So for me, I felt like if you're going to give it to a QB, I didn't think Lamar deserved it. I could understand Josh Allen. That would make sense to me. I mean, stat wise, Lamar didn't really lead any QB stats, let alone really any rushing stats either. Wasn't really top 10 in much anything really. So I don't know. I mean, I guess like in the sense of the Ravens, he's just the Ravens. Like he is the Ravens. So I don't know. To me, I felt like it should have been McCaffrey at MVP, and that way Tyreek can get Offensive Player of the Year. Um, so I don't know. To me, if it's got to be a QB, I don't like it being Lamar. I felt like Josh Allen deserves it more at QB if it's got to be a QB. And I'm sure you like hearing that.
Love it. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, I pretty much had Lamar locked in. I kind of said throughout this whole season, no one, at least from quarterback play wise, no one was putting up like groundbreaking stats. So I kind of knew that whoever had the best record, whoever was in that first seed and ended the season well, was going to win this award. And so Lamar Jackson did. I mean, like you said, that wasn't really a leader in many stats. If any, probably wasn't top three. But I mean, efficiently, he was great. I mean, not many picks. Completion percentage was kind of through the roof. I think he ended. I know we were talking about like 70%. I think halfway through the season. I'm not sure what he ended with, but efficiency wise, he was amazing. So I saw the narrative going for this. I wasn't surprised, like I said, but I'm pretty much with you. I definitely thought Josh Allen should have won this award. I mean, he was the most valuable player in the league, I thought, this year. Just what he did to the Bills, we all kind of counted them out when they were like 6-6, somewhere
Yeah, that
50%.
too. That's
I think they had like a 4% of winning the division like halfway through the season. A lot of people thought they were washed. And, I mean, he just put up his best performances, played clean, led the league in touchdowns, had over, I think, 50 touchdowns. If you combine passing and rushing, I think he led the league in rushing yards, was top of the passing yard list. And I mean, if you want, I know they don't count playoffs, but I thought he put up a 10 times better performance than Lamar did in the playoffs. I mean,
yeah. I
I
agree with
thought he
that.
should have won against the Chiefs. I don't think it was his fault. Well, on the other hand, I can't blame Lamar for that loss. And I really he didn't play well in that game. So I get it. He wasn't a great year. No one's stats stood out too much. Josh Allen did lead the league in interception, but still had one of the best touchdown to interception ratios. So I would have liked Josh to win his first one here, but like I said, it was all set up for Lamar to win his second. That's how the season ended.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand that. I agree. Um, yeah, I mean, everybody always is going to have their qualms about who wins. So, at the end of the day, again, it is what it is. You know, always next year. But that'll wrap it up for the awards. I mean, we can, real quick, since it's a Steeler, quick shout out. Cameron Hayward, Walter Payton, Man of the Year. Um,
Oh, I didn't even know he won.
yeah. I don't know if you had anything on that. I mean, that's not one I'd like argue or anything.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I mean, hats off to Cam. I mean, I listened to his podcast. He seems like a great guy. There's no ego behind him. Always fun. Everyone I hear talk about him talks very highly of him. I mean, just there's not really an ego behind him, even with how big he is, like at least name wise. But yeah, I mean, great for him. I'd love to see a Steeler win Walter Payton of the Year. I mean, just shows what he does for the community and how much he gives back to Pittsburgh. And I know Pittsburgh loves him, so it's mutual. So yeah, respect to Cam. They didn't not know he won that, but my boy.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, kind of a big award to win. Definitely very a highly honored award. Um, but yeah, that'll wrap up our the awards. You know, we'll see next year. New rookie class. You know, maybe some off season changes, new teams, stuff like that. Might switch things up, kind of change. You know, who's going to be fluctuating at the top. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Like I said, kind of getting close to the end here. Last game of the year. Um, good luck, both teams. Hopefully, it's a nice, you know, should be hopefully entertainment wise, back and forth, fun game to watch. Um, you know, nobody likes a boring Super Bowl. So, yeah, should be an interesting one. I think if you wanted to have a real close fight back and forth, these are the teams you want. So, we'll see how it rolls. But yeah, can't wait to watch it. And after that, you know, we'll start kind of pushing things out here and there and kind of figuring out where we're gonna go with the the channel for the future, um, and we'll kind of just play it by ear for now, and we'll start figuring things out, and maybe expanding a little more, trying to get a little more you know fancy with the videos and editing and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll get it figured out for y'all. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Shoots.
Oots.